yoga today. My name is Miguel for the ones that don't know me. And let's start just by closing our eyes, taking a moment to arrive, taking a moment just to set into your mat space, wherever you are in the world. Let's find the connection from different cities where we are, different people around. Let's take a couple of clearing breaths just to arrive. Clearing breath will be inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, trying to release shoulders, release the body. 2 more rounds like this, inhaling nose, exhaling mouth. 1 more round here, inhaling nose, and exhaling mouth. Nice. From here, reopening the eyes if they were closed. That's gonna do a couple of rotations of the shoulders just to start here warming up. Relaxing arms towards the sides, inhaling arms up, hands together. We're gonna find the first twist of the class, easy one. So turning your torso towards the right, left hand into the right knee, right hand towards the back. That you find here the support. So this hand here, left hand into right knee, exactly, and that to the back, exactly. Elongating here. So Roberta is our model today, and you can look towards the back. Try to focus into the inhale and the exhale, so don't lose it here, even if we are in the twist. Next time, coming back towards the center, torso back towards the center, extending arms, hands together. Long inhale here. And with the exhale, twisting now towards the left, right hand into the left knee, left hand towards the back, elongating here. And with the exhale, finding the twist, looking towards the left shoulder, if that feels good. We keep it for 1 more breath, inhaling and exhaling. We come back towards the center, a little bit of full rotation of the shoulders now. So bringing the fingertips towards the shoulders, trying to bring the thumbs towards the back, the rest of the fingers towards the front, and releasing the elbows closer to the rib cage. With the inhale, elbows towards the center and up. Use the inhalation to go up, 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 up. With the exhale, open the elbows towards the sides and towards the back. That's your full rotation of shoulders. 2 more rounds like this, at your own rhythm of breath, inhaling up. Exhaling, opening towards the sides and towards the back. 1 more round here, inhaling up. And exhaling towards the sides and towards the back. Nice. And we're gonna change positions. We're gonna go into what it's called tabletop or all fours. So bringing the knees into hip distance, the shoulders, the hands into shoulder distance. Finding here a neutral spine. We're gonna do ups and downs with the spine called cow and cat in yoga. So with the next inhale, opening your chest, navel down, looking up. With the exhale, keep pressing the floor away, chin towards the chest. You find the rounding of the upper back, middle back, and sacrum as the last part. Let's do 3 rounds like this. Use the inhalation for 1 movement of the spine. Keep opening it, finding the curvature of the spine in this direction, looking up. Exhaling, chin towards the chest. Keep pressing down, rounding the back. That's your cat pose. 2 more rounds here. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. And inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. We'll find a neutral pose again. So the spine is neutral again. Right foot in between the hands. You can walk that right foot slightly closer to the front edge of the mat. For the left, you can bring something to support, a blanket, or you can just fold the mat and that supports a little bit from here. So hands into the right knee. And very simple from here. We inhale into the center. We exhale, we bend the front knee a little bit more. Just opening here, left psoas, fitting into the inner thigh, right hip. 1 more breath, holding the pose, not the breath. So keep inhaling here. Exhaling. With the next inhale, coming back towards the center, we start extending the front leg, fingertips down. So it's okay to run with the upper back. So we want to find a stretch into the hamstrings here. So flexing the right foot, and you can go back with the hips as good as it feels. One round of breath here, inhaling and exhaling. With the next inhale, bending the right knee, hands towards the front, and coming back into an all fours again. Realigning the pose so that you have your foundations here, knees into hip distance, hands into shoulder distance, left foot in between the hands. And you walk it slightly closer to the front edge of the mat. Hands into the left knee now. Same concept, finding here the elongation, sinking down with the hips. And with the exhale, you bend the knee to the extent that feels good here. Turning it into the right psoas, inner thigh, left hip. Once more, inhaling here and exhaling. We bring to extend the left leg. Hands can go into fingertips. Flex the left foot so that you also find engagement onto the calves, fitting into the left hamstrings now. Just one round of breath, inhaling and exhaling. With the next inhale, bending the front knee. Left foot is flat, hands towards the front, all fours for a moment. And we're gonna go into what it's called downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So tucking the toes on the back, we bring the knees up 5 to 10 centimeters. We hold there the breath, we hold the pose, not the breath. So keep inhaling and exhaling, just working out with the core, with the shoulders. With the next exhale, extending legs, extending arms. That's your downward facing dog. A little bit of mobility here. You can do this bicycle movement, so maybe bending one knee after the other. You're gonna feel a little bit more like the extension of the hamstring, stretching there. Maybe at some point you want to bend the knees deeply, extend the arms, feeling the full extension of the spine from the sacrum to the neck. And with the next inhale, with the knees bent, we look forward and we are gonna walk to the front of the mat, either to be steps or small steps or one jump, depending on your practice. We find each other in what it's called Uttanasana, so folding forward. Try to bend the knees here so that the gap between the belly and the thighs is close, and maybe you can hold elbows with opposite hands, just releasing here some body weight. Maybe you can play there again with the hamstrings stretch. So just trying to extend the legs to whatever feels good today and bending the knees a little bit more. Once again, keep breathing, inhaling, extending the legs a little bit more, and exhaling, bending the knees. One last round here, inhaling, extending legs. Head is heavy, torso is heavy. And from here, releasing hands down, releasing all the air. We roll the spine up, but very slowly, taking one inhale or 2 rounds of breath. Slowly rising up. The arms are heavy, the head is heavy. So that imagine that you want to feel all the vertebrae waking up on the spine. Take your time, just remember to breathe so you don't get dizzy. Nice. And once you're up, this is our Tadasana mountain pose. Couple of rotations of the shoulders from the front towards the back and from the back towards the front. Nice. We're gonna do a couple of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar, slow ones, deconstructing them into the different poses. So this is our Tadasana mountain pose. So feet together, arms towards the sides. From here, we're gonna inhale, bring the arms up, hands together, looking to the hands. We extend the arms, but we release the shoulders down. With the exhale, bending the knees and folding forward into Uttanasana. Inhaling, hands into the shins, look slightly up, trying to make this L shape with the legs and the torso. With the exhale, bending the knees, hands flat towards the mat. We transition to our plank pose. 1 step, 2 steps. In plank pose, pressing the floor away, trying to make a line between the heels and the neck so that we don't bring the hips down or up. We try to find the middle line here. And with the exhale, bringing the knees down towards the mat, bending the elbows so that we can bring chest and chin towards the mat. And we extend here legs. Again, rotations of shoulders up and down. That's our cobra pose, Bhujangasana. We tuck the toes. We keep extending the arms. And from here, extending legs, downward facing dog again. Let's do again one clearing breath. Inhaling nose, exhaling mouth. With the next inhale, bending the knees, looking in between the hands. And again, two big steps, small steps, one jump, that we find each other into the front of the mat, releasing again torso and head down, arms are heavy. With the next inhale, arms towards the sides, torso up, hands up. And bringing these hands together towards the chest and arms towards the sides. That's our Surya Namaskar, sun salutations. It took a little bit to have sun in Zurich, so maybe these sun salutations come also from your cities. We keep the sun everywhere in the world today. Let's do one more round here, inhaling, arms up, hands together. Exhaling, bending the knees, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhaling, hands into the shins, look forward, this L shape of the body. Exhaling, bending knees, hands flat towards the mat. We transition again into our plank pose. One step back, the other step back. We hold it here for one breath so that you make sure that you engage the core, you engage the shoulders. At the same time, you find your hips into the middle line so that they don't sink down, or you are finding this midway. And with the exhale again, knees down, bending elbows, chest and chin down. You extend the legs, rotations of shoulders up and down. Look slightly forward, that's our Bhujangasana cobra pose. Tucking toes, pressing down against the floor, extending arms, and extending legs, downward facing dog. Again, taking a moment of clearing breath here, inhaling nose, exhaling mouth. One more round, inhaling nose, exhaling mouth. And with the next inhale, listen carefully. So we're gonna walk our hands carefully towards the back, towards our feet, so that we find again this pose called Uttanasana, folding forward. And with the next inhale, torso up, arms up, hands together. And exhaling, releasing down, arms towards the sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhaling, bringing your arms up, hands together, and a little bit of lateral stretch. So with our arms extended, we just bend towards the right. You're gonna feel the stretch from the left shoulder towards the left hip. So you decide how deep you go into the side bend. Just remember to breathe, so don't block the breath. Inhaling, coming back up, keeping the arms extended, and we find the side bend towards the left. Again, we keep it for one more round of breath. If you wanna go deeper into the stretch, feel free. Just be careful with lower back compression here. Inhaling, rising up, and releasing arms towards the sides. Tadasana mountain pose. One more exercise for the shoulders. So I demonstrate like this on the sides. So we keep your Tadasana mountain pose. You interlace fingertips towards the back, trying to bring wrists together if that's okay. Otherwise, releasing them a little bit, but focusing on extending the arms. Shoulder blades together and releasing shoulders down so that you find the stretch into the upper back, into the neck. Inhaling here. Exhaling. Releasing hands closer to the sacrum so that the shoulders open towards the sides again. Arms and hands released. We are still on our back of our mat, arms towards the sides. Inhaling, bending the knees deeply, sitting down. You can touch the floor if you want, and bringing torso up, hands up. That's our chair pose, Utkatasana. And with the exhale, hands down towards the floor. Since we have our knees bent, keeping them like this, and just start walking your hands towards the front again. You separate the feet into hip distance. We press down with the hands, downward facing dog again. And with the exhale, bending the knees towards the mat. And we find all fours again. Let's do 3 more rounds of what we just did in the beginning of the class. So this cow and cat, just feeling the differences of the spine just after a few rounds of movement. Inhaling into cow, opening the chest, look slightly up. Exhaling into chest, keep pressing down, rounding the back. 2 more rounds here, inhaling cow. Exhaling into cat. And once more, inhaling cow. And exhaling into cat. With the next inhale, finding neutral pose again. And you're gonna bring the hips towards the heels, walking your hands backwards. And just going to one side or the other side so that you find a way of bringing your legs towards the front. So sitting bones are connected. If you are at home and you have something to support the hips, you have a blanket or something and you're used to that, feel free to find the support. We're gonna bend the knees slightly, flexing the feet, hands towards the sides, elongating spine here, opening the chest, and walking our hands forward. That's again, the same as we did standing, but now sitting. So it's our Paschimottanasana. So the way of building the pose is closing the gap between the belly and the thighs, keeping our chest open. Once you're there, you can grab anything. So maybe the shins today, maybe the outside of the feet, or maybe on top of the fingers and the toes here. We stay here for 3 rounds of breath, feeling a little bit of release on the lower back, inhaling and exhaling. 2 more rounds of breath, inhaling and exhaling. Maybe the last one as a clearing breath, inhaling nose, exhaling mouth, and slowly releasing the bind of the hands wherever they are, towards the sides and walking them backwards, rising up with the torso. Bending the knees, sole of the feet grounded towards the mat, and our backs release towards the floor. Maybe taking a moment here just to bring one hand into the belly, one hand into the chest, and just going to a couple of deep inhalations, deep exhalations, relaxing shoulders, relaxing lower back, connecting back to your body, connecting back to your breath. Try to set your mind into an open mood, calmness mood, so that you transition towards Roberta's afterwards, towards meditation. You feel open for the rest of the practice today. And opening the eyes if they were closed. Last movements, and we take 1 minute of Shavasana. So bringing the knees towards the chest. You can grab the knees with the hands, and maybe you stay there, just having yourself into a knee hug here. Maybe just balance the knees slightly towards the sides, balancing here. Maybe a little bit of rotation. So just check there, like the release of the lower back of the spine, however it feels good today. Maybe one last time, knees towards the chest. If that feels good for the neck, you can bring the nose towards the knees here, finding your cocoon, rounding the back for the last time today. And with the next inhale, releasing, head back down onto the mat. And slowly extending your legs, arms towards the sides. And we take few breaths into Shavasana. We're gonna do a very simple exercise. We just find an effortless breath, but with the inhale, can repeat into ourselves, I receive. With the exhale, we repeat internally, I release. So connecting with this simple breath, just remembering, inhaling, I receive. Exhaling, I release. I receive. I release. Inhaling. Exhaling. I receive. I release. And maybe a couple of clearing breaths to release tension of the body before we transition out of Shavasana. Inhaling nose. Exhaling mouth, making any sound that feels good for you. One more round, inhaling nose. Exhaling mouth. And very slowly moving the fingertips, moving the toes, and a bit of rotation of the wrist, a bit of rotation of the ankles on both directions. Last stretch here, extending arms towards the back from the fingertips to the toes. And with the exhale, bringing knees towards the chest, last knee hug here. And two ways of going down, one more passive, the other one a bit more active. So one way, knees towards the sides, and you go into a seated position. If you want to roll the spine up and down, we go into the more active way. So bringing the knees towards the chest, having the momentum, and going up. Maybe two more rounds like this, going back and forward, going back and forward, and staying there, crossing legs, closing the eyes for a moment. Maybe you can bring the hands into prayer, or maybe one on top of the other, but just find a way of connecting towards yourself today. And for the last part, just rubbing the hands against each other, creating some heat, some internal fire. So we're gonna bring these hands into any part of the body that we feel today with an extra nourishment, or maybe an extra touch, or maybe like intuitively going there. One last round here, inhaling, I receive. Long exhale, I release. Closing here the yoga part today. Hope you feel relaxed, but at the same time a little bit energized, so that you can take the part of Roberta. Thank you so much. I didn't see you guys. I just felt the presence for you today. So glad to have you on the other side of the phone. Hopefully the sun salutations work wherever you are. Otherwise, yeah, don't blame me if it's raining today.
Thank you, Miguel. Bright and sunny in Arizona.
Yeah, even my daughter joined here. She was on the mat
Cool.
with me.
You want to use mine?
Two, but I have to connect. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Hey guys. All right, so let's go get some exercise done. At least I have a partner.
That wasn't the exercise. Okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do today as our functional training part, if you guys have at home does anybody, I know someone has 2 dumbbells. Does anybody else have, if you don't have dumbbells, do you have any other weights you could use? Like 2 cans or 2 water bottles? A daughter, that's too heavy. How many people do we have? 65. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give different versions. What we're gonna do today, we're gonna do stations, and then you're gonna do 1 minute on each station. We're gonna rotate that for 15 minutes. So 5 stations, 3 times on each station. Okay, and then when you're there, you do 1 minute as hard as you can or as much as you can, and then we rotate. We have about 20 seconds rest in between to rotate and get set, and then we start again. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the exercises and show you. 1, if you have a ball on It doesn't have to be this big, or some type of weight, a heavy book. And what we're gonna do is called the deadlift, okay? The deadlift, it's like an exercise that works on your posterior chain. So you wanna have your legs just under your hips. We're gonna show forward and sideways here, okay? So just here, and you're gonna bend. And the way you're gonna start bending is by push your hip back, always with the back straight, your back straight. So you push back, 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 then you grab the ball. If the ball is small or the book is small, you're just gonna go until past the knee. You don't go all the way to the floor, okay? And your back keeps straight. And then you go up, and then you finish the movement at the top, and you make sure your legs go straight. So this is a deadlift, okay? It's called deadlift because you do not use your upper body. You're using your posterior chain. So it's your lower back, your hamstrings, and that's an excellent exercise for those of you who may have some back problems. But you need to start light, okay? So during the 1 minute, you don't need to do super fast. It's a very controlled movement. So this is the deadlift station. For those who have a dumbbell, what we're gonna do is go down, and then you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here you are on a plank. Make sure your hips are not up, or even worse, they're not hanging. You have to be in a nice plank here. Then you go forward, bring it up, go up. 1, 2, 3. If you don't have dumbbells, I know at least one has. If you don't have 2 dumbbells, it shouldn't be too heavy, okay? What you can do is you're gonna go here, and you're gonna do 1, 2, 3, or on your knees, whatever variety you wanna do. So 3 of these, and then up, down, okay? And then you do 3 jumps. Should I repeat that? Is that clear for them? Okay. Then sit-ups. If you don't have this, it's okay. Just do it as whatever you have your mat. And you're gonna go for 1 minute, all the way to the top. We're not doing crunches, okay? We want the full movement. So all the way back, all the way up, and open your chest to the top. All the way. All right. Then another station will be this. You crunch, bring your knees together, and then you're gonna alternate. You go as low as you can, and you're gonna do right to left, elbow to knee, see, okay? And then you might cramp up a little bit if you haven't done this in a while, so then just get up, stretch a little, and go back again. So we have 2 stations for abs, 1 station for the dumbbells or just the push-ups with the jumps, and the deadlift. 1, 2, wait, did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yes, and the lunges. Lunges, you're just gonna walk. It's a stance up. Then you're gonna bring your knee down, but you wanna make sure this knee stays on top of your ankle so you don't hurt your knees, okay? And up. Then you can do walking lunges, or you can do lunges in the same place. Up. And you wanna do again, it's all about doing the whole full movement. This is not really a great lunge. And you don't wanna do all this. So if you better do less, but do the right movement. Up, down. You can use your arms for balance. Okay, so these are our 5 stations. Is that clear? Now, I'm gonna start the timer. And when I say go, we're all gonna start on the same station. You and I can change a little bit because we only have, but you guys can follow my station, okay? Ready? Let me get my timer here. Sure, do you wanna give it a try? All right, so let's start with the deadlift. All right, so the deadlift starts with the ball here. Oh, let's just say you don't have a weight at home. So yeah, let's start up then. Start like here, straight, yeah. Now, he's gonna start the movement by pushing his hips back, keeping the back straight. Yeah, go. And then you bend your knee, yeah. And then come back up. Full movement all the way to the, yeah, like that. And then back down again and up. Back, up. So starting the movement, hips push back, bend the knees, keep the back straight. Yes. And then don't put a lot of pressure on your neck. Just let the neck follow there. Don't look forward. Just, yes, like that. More neutral neck. Okay, all the way down. Yeah, and up. Good. So that's the deadlift. Then we come here. Can you show both versions? One, you go down and you do one, on a plank. Yeah, plank. Yes, good. The elbow goes all the way back. 2, 3, yeah. 4, 5, 6, good. Now jump. No, just 6 is enough. Now jump forward with your, yep, good. Now up. And then 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're gonna do the version if you don't have the weights at home. So 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Legs forward, a little jump. Yep, and then 3 jumps high. So just jump. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Next station, sit-ups, but without this because they don't have it at home. Okay, so all the way down. You can open your leg a little bit like this so that you can bring your chest forward. Okay, yeah, there you go. 1. Good. And last exercise, knees to elbows. So yeah, so you're gonna crunch up and then left to right. Yes, like that. And your leg will be as close to the floor as you can. Yeah, without touching. So you don't rest. Well, yeah, there you go.
The one doing this trend, not recording.
All right, so that's it. Those are our 5 exercises. We're gonna do 3 times on each station for 1 minute and about 15-20 seconds transition and rest. Okay. All right, so how about this? Sorry, left. Oh, so let's do 1 round. Okay, so I'll start. Do you want to start with the deadlift and I start? You move this way to here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have the timer going?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start. 1 minute and then 10 seconds rest. Then, ready? Go as fast as you can. Yeah. No, you go with this. Yeah. How many minutes left, Trent? Sorry, seconds. So 1 minute's finished. Oh, keep going 1 second. Yeah, you can move to lunges now. Where did my phone go? Make sure you really keep your back straight. All right, we still have 30 seconds, guys. Keep going. Exactly 30 seconds. The deadlift, it's really important. Keep your back straight. Start the movement, pushing the hips back. All right, 15 seconds. Get a few more reps in. Hey, 7 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Next station. So I'm gonna do the station 1 without the weight for you guys to see. 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Jump up. And 3. Now, for those of you who may have weights at home, we'll do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Alternate with the push-ups. One, 2, 3. Okay. Next station. No, it's okay. You can stay here for a minute. Sit-ups. You can get your heart rate going here, going really fast. And also the point of these exercises, when it's high repetitions, is to get you to be able to build some more lactic acid and not be extremely exhausted. You learn how to flush it out. Your body learns to flush it out. Okay, 20 seconds. Next time, Trent will be next to us. Okay, we have just a few seconds to go, and we go to our last 2, 1. Okay, we have one more. Knees to elbows, okay? So, crunch, hands under your neck, and then go side to side. If knees to elbows is a bit easy, then go further down your leg. This one feels a little longer than minute, right?
Yes.
And it's only 40 seconds to go. Just kidding. I'll tell you how many. 15 seconds. You can try to do 1 per second. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, got a few more in there. All right. If you feel like you need to stretch, just go right back and then stretch your abs a little bit. Go back. Okay. Well, if you guys have time later, you can do the other 2 sessions on your own. I have to manage my time a little better next time. Okay, thank you. Can do the rest later.
Can take the other
Okay,
one.
I won't be able to stay for the meditation. I didn't even get a chance to say it.
What's that?
I won't be able to stay.
Hey, my three, are you ready?
Yes, I actually just need to be able to share my screen, please.
That's going to be a challenge because I'm not the host.
Okay.
Or if
You're
I
the
am the
host.
host, I won't be the host because I can't turn on screen sharing from my phone.
Done, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Got it. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, thank you for such great movement this morning. I'm in Los Angeles, so it's 9:10 a.m. Here. So that felt really good. I could feel it in my shoulders and my upper back, where I usually keep quite a bit of tension. But today we're going to continue our conversations around nurturing self-compassion. This is a 4-week series, and we are on week number 2. And we'll be discussing self-talk and quieting the inner critic. And when I say self-talk, this is that voice that we speak to ourselves with in our head. And as we go into this, I just want to review some of the topics that we'll discuss today. So we'll recap session 1 a bit, and then go into what self-talk is. We'll do a group activity and discussion, and then end it with affirmation meditation. A couple guidelines for those of you that may have not heard this last week. The first is to stay curious. It just allows a lot more openness around different topics that we discuss. The second is remembering that you are the experimenter, the experiment, and the data. You're going to be doing the work, and you're going to see the results of it. The third guideline is to be patient. This can be challenging. Mindfulness and meditation and the effects of it do take some time. It does not happen overnight. You may feel the effects as you're meditating, but the long-term effects do take time. It's kind of like playing an instrument or a sport and, getting good at it. It's a skill, but we're going to cultivate some of that skill through these courses. And the last one is sitting in the silence and the stillness. This tends to be maybe one of the hardest things for me, just because there's a piece to sitting in that stillness that can be challenging. So we're going to provide some opportunities for that, so you can start maybe integrating it into. Just to recap that last week we discussed what meditation, mindfulness, and mindfulness meditation were. They are all three a little bit different. I believe we have that recorded if anyone wants to see it. And then we'll go into, we also discussed what self-compassion was, showing kindness to yourself the way you possibly would to a friend that came to you with a concern or problem. And then, we actually did not do the take home, but if you give me more time, we will. I wanted to start with a poll and just kind of ask the audience here, like, do you show self-compassion to yourself when you slip or make a mistake? Feel free to enter it in the chat or say things out loud. Yes, someone said yes. That's good if you are showing self-compassion to yourself. It can be a challenge, depending on, how you were possibly raised and, disciplined. That can affect you as an adult in ways and about how you talk to yourself. So being more aware of that is something that will be kind of moving towards. So Keisha Errors mentioned that everything starts with what my neuroception is. That's my perception about myself and my perception of the self in the environment, in this universe and in this life. From a practice perspective, noticing the contents of our mind through intentional practice builds the capacity to change habits, break that self-defeating pattern or talk that you may have, and create emotional balance. So let's talk about the self-talk and the voice in our head. Self-talk is more than a confidence booster or crusher. For a neuroscience perspective, self-talk is more like internal remodeling of the brain. Self-talk really affects our brain. And so when these neurons hit, fire in our brain in however way we speak to ourselves, if we continue speaking to ourselves that way, they will kind of fire and wire in that direction. And then, being more aware and stopping ourselves from speaking maybe negatively or however we do speak, and moving toward more positive affirmations and positive communication to ourselves. It can do the same thing. It can rewire your brain from the other perspective, and things will start firing in more of a positive direction in your head and that voice. So science does show that we do have the ability to kind of change how that brain function does work. Whether we speak positively or negatively to ourselves. The voice in your head is part of you that is constantly talking to your mind and to yourself. We spend all day having a conversation with ourselves, pretty much 24/7. Like, if you really think about it, we don't even realize we're talking to ourselves like that. At a fundamental level, the way we talk to ourselves really matters. It literally changes our brain. So when we do discuss the brain, going a little bit into that inner critic, the inner critic is the critical voice, and this voice comes from somewhere in our past, like I had mentioned earlier. Psychology does show us that from childhood and our past relationships, this voice kind of comes to fruition. And this is why some or more critical, some people are more critical than others. I know myself personally, I'm pretty self-critical. If I, something happens and I realize that I slipped in this direction or fell in that direction and things didn't work out like I was possibly hoping, I tend to, struggle in my own head and maybe cycle in a direction that isn't always healthy for myself. So I know that I really do have to work on that personally. But so when we self-criticize, we tap into our body's defense system, which affects our mind and our body, resulting in things such as depression and anxiety. So being aware of how you speak to yourself is really important. When that stress response is triggered by threat to our self-concept that we, impose on ourselves at some level, we often turn on ourselves. We become both the attacker and the attacked in our own minds, and we fight through this self-criticism. And although this internal defense mechanism attempts to protect us, which, it does help create a wall and does protect us at some level, the self-critic can be counterproductive, and it can, wreak havoc on the brain because you are wiring the brain in a different direction. Now, on the other side of criticism is the compassionate side. Now, this is that self-talk in a more positive way. It's a voice of encouragement and support, and it is accepting and kind. And I know I have some friends that tell me they speak to themselves all the time with self-compassion, and I envy that. I really do. I've worked really hard to speak to myself in a nicer way. Self-compassion is the opposite of self-criticism. And when we practice self-compassion, it can have a tremendous positive effect on the brain and in daily life. Our overall well-being improves when we do practice self-compassion. So with that, let's practice a little bit of self-compassion with this activity. So the activity, there's two parts to it. The first part is, how does your inner critic show up? So think of a problem or a behavior you want to change within yourself that's making your life hard. And think about, what problems does this cause? How does it make you feel? Some examples could be tendency to skip a workout, or maybe procrastination, being snappy with friends or family or coworkers or kids. And then think about how you do show your inner critic to yourself. Just let's take a minute to think about that. So what are you saying to yourself? What is your inner dialogue? Feel free to share it in the text, in the chat, or say it out loud, or just think it to yourself.
Yeah, so Michael, how do you handle when, let's say, you give example, procrastinate, and then you are too self-accepting or compliant to yourself, and I said, that's okay, you're doing okay, and you're, like I'm forgiving myself faster than I should, and not criticizing myself enough for skipping what I needed to do. But this is something that is going on in my brain. I've been trying to stop it a lot.
Honestly, that's a really good problem to have. If you're being that nice to yourself, you're wiring your brain in a positive way. So I would not worry about that. If you are being that kind to yourself, then you're on the right path.
Gracias.
Yeah. The people that we worry about, people like myself that go into like a spiral about something that didn't go right. And then that can lead to anxiety and depression, and that is a challenge. So as we think about this, let's go on to part 2 of this activity. And this is to your point, finding those words of compassion, those affirmation, those positive words. These are some examples here. I will be kind to myself. I believe in myself. I accept myself just as I am. I forgive myself. I'm strong. I'm willing to give myself the compassion I deserve. So for some of us, showing self-compassion can be a bit challenging and awkward. And we know now we're going to spend some time with affirmations. And I'm actually going to, because of time, I'm going to skip directly to the meditation. We're going to do a self-compassion affirmation meditation. So it works off of this, but just be aware that when you do find yourself talking to yourself in a negative way and self-criticizing, you do have the ability to just switch your thoughts. And when you notice it, counter it with something positive, because the brain does respond to that positiveness. And so let's practice that in a meditation. Get in a comfortable spot with your back straight. You can practice this at any time when you need a little self-compassion. Keep in mind that my guidance is only a suggestion. And if at any point you want to stop the practice, you're welcome to do so and can rejoin us when you would like. You can choose to keep your eyes open, softly gaze downward, or close them. Just take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's take time to bring awareness to your natural rhythm of breathing. Lower the in-breath and the out-breath, just as it is. No need to change anything. I invite you to recall an experience that triggers your inner critic. To ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? What do I need to hear in order to show myself compassion? You need strength or acceptance or forgiveness. Bringing your awareness to your natural rhythm of breathing. Flow with the in-breath and the out-breath, just as it is. Need to change anything. Now, begin to silently repeat your affirmation. You can say, I believe in myself. If you have an affirmation of your own, you're welcome to say that. Say it again. I believe in myself. Your inhale and your exhale. One more time. I believe self. Now, anytime you notice your mind wandering, gently bring your awareness back to your breath and your affirmation. I believe in myself. Appreciating that you've taken the time to pause, to cultivate your capacity to be present, and to nurture yourself in this way. I believe in myself. I invite you to transition out of the meditation by gently opening your eyes when you're ready, maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes. That you are always deserving of kindness and understanding, and that connecting in this way is an act of self-compassion. You can access it when you need it, whenever you need it the most. Best wishes, and may you be well.
Thank you, Maitri.
Cut out, but you guys enjoy the silence. Okay.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful, Maitri.